My name is Linda Holyfield, and I am presenting with Group 7, which includes Richard Cooks, I.E. Gucci, Raj Kashyap, Jonathan Pilgrim, Joey Steele, and Kyle Wall. We chose an article from Wall Street Journal regarding the General Electric Company and their latest decisions regarding the structure of the company. In 1889, General Electric was formed between Thomas Edison and two other companies and has shifted its focus many times since then, and has been involved in household goods, dishwashers, refrigerators, broadcasting networks, and innovative technologies in their industry. More recently, GE has been involved in the oil service industry, power turbines, for renewable energy, and the healthcare industry. Earlier this week, on Tuesday, the rookie CEO of GE, John Flannery, announced General Electric would be selling their ownership stakes in the oil service and healthcare business, and that they would be focusing their strategies on power, aviation, and renewable energy. Mr. Flannery stated that the culture of GE has always been a centralized, top-down approach, which we could consider this as a traditional workplace culture, and will be making a culture shift to make the individual business units the centralized focus. GE has been in a long-running slump, and just in the last year, stocks have dropped by half and cost the company $100 billion in wealth. Also, General Electric has been one of 30 companies in the Dow Jones average since 1907, and as of last week, they were removed from the Dow Jones Index. The new CEO, John Flannery, recently concluded a year-long strategic review to uncover problems at the core of the company. Mr. Flannery is clearly using his position as CEO to make drastic internal and external strategic changes for General Electric in hopes of increasing shareholder wealth and doing whatever it takes to get the company in a strong market position. Now, the other members will be going over strategic strategies and planning tactics of General Electric in this time of restructure for the company.
For a company that once filled American homes with appliances and finance mortgages, GE has taken steps over the years to narrow its focus and reevaluate its mission. General Electric's mission states the company's aims as a major influencer of development, as it strives to invent the next industrial era and to build, move, power, and cure the world. Effort towards achieving this first component of inventing the next industrial era can be seen through GE ensuring that it keeps evolving to introduce innovative and advanced products that support industrial progress. This second component of empowering the world as we know it has been tackled through the company's operations in the transportation and aerospace, energy, and healthcare industries. While GE's mission statement is simple and focused, it does not satisfy the requirements of an ideal mission statement. As an ideal statement should indicate what the company does while providing a general idea of how the company intends to accomplish its mission. Yes, we have learned through the statement of GE's intention to invent the next industrial era and to cure the world, but we are without information on the strategy the company will take to achieve these goals. As described in the article, GE has continued on a path of shrinking the company with the goals of expanding aviation and energy prowess while maintaining a global presence. While this is clearly a narrowing in focus from their original mission, GE has already taken action repositioning the company to be the world's best aviation infrastructure and technology enterprise by shrinking its operations to a size that can reverse the slump the company has been having to eventually bring infrastructure leadership to greater levels than ever before. GE has always had a strategy of competitive and intensive growth, yet this transition of spinning off 4 of its 8 divisions is a strategy to reduce the size of GE Capital to align its growth with industrial earnings. With such dramatic change, a new mission statement is required for the shifting goals and strategies to properly reflect the company's narrowed focus mission.
After management evaluates its organization's missions, goals, and strategies, they scan the environment with a focus on potential problems that necessitate change or process improvements. The environmental scan is composed of an internal and external component. The objective of the internal and external scan is to identify conditions and factors that may impact business, respectively. The internal scan is composed of primary customers, core competencies, synergy, and value creation. The external environment is composed of national, global, competitors, and legal regulations. In the article, GE narrows focus to power, aviation, and latest rebound. An environmental scan revealed problems in the company's core power and insurance units, which led to the dissolution of its healthcare and oil units. GE is a global multi-industrial company. Its primary customers include businesses in the power, aviation, healthcare, renewable energy, oil, gas, transportation, lighting, retail, and financial services. Its core competencies are manufacturing and services in its conglomerate of industries. Before 2017, those competencies were spread across a conglomerate of industries. In 2017, those competencies were narrowed to the aviation, health, and energy sectors. With the spinoff of its healthcare and oil divisions, GE's core competencies of manufacturing and services are now concentrated in its core power and financial divisions. According to DAF 2017, synergy relates to the interaction of the organization's parts in order to produce outcomes that are greater than each part alone. Before 2017, GE had too many parts. In GE's 2017 CEO letter, John Flannery, the current CEO, concluded that the company was operating too many businesses at once. He noted that the company lacked the financial and managerial capabilities to operate such a large conglomerate. He concluded that by narrowing its focus to its core company's units of power and insurance, the company could produce its greatest impact, thus producing exhaustive synergy among the remaining parts. In terms of the external environment, GE's scan revealed that they're operating in a high level of uncertainty. According to the current CEO, GE operates competitive businesses that are fundamentally strong, but they play in infrastructure industries that have experienced significant disruption, from globalization to digitalization to shifting demands and new players. Nationally, GE corporate office is located in Boston, Massachusetts. Globally, it operates in 47 countries. Being a conglomerate, GE has numerous competitors in multiple industries. With the spinoff of the healthcare and all divisions, GE will free up assets that will enable them to decentralize management and allocate resources to the core power and insurance divisions to ensure that goals are accomplished effectively and efficiently. In addition, by narrowing its focus with the spinoff, GE decreased its numbers of competitors as well as legal regulations in the many countries that it operates in.
Thanks, Richard. So after identifying and changing those mission statements, goals, and grand strategy, the next step in the process of strategic planning would be to conduct a SWOT analysis. And a SWOT analysis consists of two parts: an internal analysis of the company's strengths and weaknesses. Strengths are, of course, internal characteristics of the company that the company can exploit to achieve its performance goals, while weaknesses are internal characteristics that may inhibit the company from achieving its performance goals. And the second part of the SWOT analysis is the external analysis of the company's opportunities and threats. And opportunities are, of course, external characteristics that have the potential to help the company achieve its performance goals, while threats are external characteristics that have the potential to hinder the company from achieving its performance goals. So a SWOT analysis is typically conducted first by informing yourself with the environmental scan, the internal and external environmental scan. But typically what will happen is an executive team will get together and individually put together a SWOT, and then they'll brainstorm the elements of the SWOT together and ultimately produce something similar to what you see before you on the screen: a concise list of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that's likely what GE did. Here on the screen, you can see a SWOT done by MarketLine and Global Data, analyzing General Electric and their performance. And so this is likely similar to what GE did internally. They probably looked at their financial statements to discover that they had strong performance in the aviation segment, while they had poor performance in the power segments. Aviation was a strength, but power was a weakness to them. They scanned the external environment and likely saw that there's tremendous demand for new airplanes because most of the infrastructure is aging and dilapidated and needs to be replaced. So they have opportunity to grow their aviation division. And then, of course, they would look to the external environment to see that they operate in highly competitive and regulated industries. And because of that, they would have to pay close attention to the threats of government intervention. So after conducting the SWOT analysis, they would reevaluate their mission statement, goals, and strategy, and change the formulation of those, which we'll discuss next.
So I'm going to talk about GE's new mission, goals, and grand strategy. A new mission statement for GE would be to provide the customer a better life through their products. And new goals would be the development of the energy as well as the development of the aviation industry. As a GE's new strategy, they can focus more on aviation and power, especially renewable energy. The reason is renewable energy would be their competitive advantage because they have the potential for growing the company's renewable energy operations. The demand for renewables will continue to grow as these resources become economically competitive. Sustainable energy such as solar has been getting popular because it can not only sustain the environment, but also assist companies to gain more profit, which means that GE doesn't need to spend a lot of money on renewable energy because it can be produced at lower cost and can be used several times. Therefore, in order to ensure successful long-term operation, GE needs to invest more in renewable energy so that they can be a third in the BCG metrics.
Managers generally apply strategy in three different areas: corporate, business, and functional strategy. Corporate strategy relates to the organization as a whole and is focused on the sum of all the departments and products and how they work together to advance the company. This strategy often deals with things like acquisitions and mergers, divestitures, and joint ventures. When determining this level of strategy, leaders may ask themselves, what business are we in? GE's recent historical corporate strategy include using their size to acquire the number 1 or 2 largest companies in the industry they wish to pursue. This helped the organization grow to become one of the world's largest and most successful companies. However, in recent years, not all of the industries that they have entered have become profitable for GE. Most recently, as outlined in the article, their corporate strategy has shifted away from acquisitions and is in the process of divesting 2 of its larger business units. GE will soon form a spin-off company for its healthcare-related service lines, as well as sell off its ownership stake in the oil services industry. In addition to the divestitures and strategy, as previously mentioned, is to focus on growing their power and aviation as well as their renewable energy. Next, the business level strategy. This type of strategy relates specifically to each individual business unit or product lines. It is a type of strategy that is most concerned with things like the direction of the business unit, product changes, and new developments. While our article mostly referenced the corporate strategy, it did go into a little bit of detail pertaining to new changes that will promote better business level strategy. GE recently announced that they are changing their management structure from a top-down approach to a more business unit focused approach. This means that managers in each of their respective business unit industries will have a greater ability to determine new product development and department direction. The third and final strategy is the functional level strategy. Functional level strategy pertains to the functions within each business unit, including finance, marketing, and research and development. GE has indicated that one of its main focuses functionally and core competencies relates to innovation through research and development. Their strategy consists of hiring the best new talent, helping employees embrace new cultural ideas and new ways of doing things. Through the focus of their workforce and hiring the right individuals, they will be able to continue pursuing their core competency of innovation and research and development.
Thank you, Kyle. GE has already begun to take steps to properly execute the new strategy, having divested their healthcare and oil and gas business. For this strategy to be successful, GE will need to demonstrate visible leadership by motivating people and reshaping the culture. Given the size of GE, this is not going to happen overnight. Managers are going to need to communicate their message through candid communication to achieve success. Additionally, the reorganization of the business unit approach as opposed to the top-down is going to help them provide that communication. GE is going to need to reallocate resources, including both people and funding, and be clear in the definition of their job roles, responsibilities, and the metrics for success. GE's gas and steam turbine-based segment of the power industry is seeing a decline as global power market shifts to the renewable energy business. The skill sets utilized by manufacturing workers in this segment are complementary to the aviation engine manufacturing division, as the power generation turbines are a derivative of the aviation engine. To better realign resources, some of these employees from the gas and steam turbine business can be assigned to the aviation segment. Utilizing these existing employees will reduce training time and costs, as employees will already be ingrained in the corporate culture. As existing employees are moved and new employees are hired, HR will need to ensure there's adequate training for these employees to be successful in their new positions. On the renewable energy side of the business, GE is primed for rapid growth to become a star of the industry. GE no longer manufactures solar panels, having sold its U.S. manufacturing business to industry giant First Solar in 2013. GE does, however, offer a variety of products that support both solar and wind generation, including inverters, switchgear control system, and data acquisition. Additionally, GE offers robust operations and maintenance services for existing power facilities. Given the recent tariffs placed on imported solar panels, GE should reconsider going back into the manufacturing of solar panels in the U.S., as they are now positioned to have a prime competitive advantage given their strong foothold in the U.S. utility industry. This would allow them to repurpose existing facilities and utilize existing staff and infrastructure, changing manufacturing focus to renewable energy products. In conclusion, GE is one of the most recognizable brands in the world and enjoys a strong position in the power and aviation segments. The company's recent struggles are a common thing among other similar companies. To respond to a changing marketplace, GE is realigning its business to focus on its core competencies, which are manufacturing and service. Historically, its prime business units have been power and aviation segment. Currently, GE Power products enjoy considerable market share at power plants across the world. Many of these facilities have long-term maintenance contracts that provide GE consistent and stable net income. The power industry is changing, however, moving from large turbine-based machines to clean, renewable energy provided by solar and wind generation. As such, GE is seeking to grow its renewable energy business to support the change in the power industry. Focusing their core companies in power and aviation with reallocating resources are critical for GE to remain a dominant force and secure its position as the #1 supplier in the power and aviation segments.